What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Fantasy Tap. My name is Michael, and if you've never joined us before, we are a fantasy football podcast. John, how are you doing today? You ready for our game-by-game breakdown?
I am ready for this game-by-game breakdown. Enjoyed the game last night. I thought it was absolutely amazing seeing Brandon Cooks be a stunning player, possibly going to be leading the league in receiving yards by the end of the week.
Yes, I actually thought of you this morning. I was going to make a TikTok, and I still might. You know that meme where it's like the clown getting dressed, and it's like it's four different boxes, and then he puts the wig on at the end. Seeing him making a TikTok like that, saying, "I will never, ever, 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 ever doubt Brandon Cooks again." So
it's gonna be hard.
And by the end of it, I'll be a clown. Little red nose.
You never know, man.
But
hey, let's figure out who the other guys that are going to be popping off this week and are going to be putting up numbers similar to them. Got a long list of games.
Yes, we do. We have all of them, all Sundays and Mondays. Before we do, though, if you guys could do us a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and hit the little bell icon so you guys know when we go live, when we go or post a new video, and things like that. Just keep you updated. Also, if you're listening to us on the podcast form, we'd really appreciate a rate and a review, 5-star preferably. But yeah, let's jump into it, John. We're going game by game, talking about every player except for the obvious ones, and breaking it down. So let's start off with the Washington football team versus the Buffalo Bills playing in Buffalo. Taylor Heineke. I mean, obviously Josh Allen's a must start. Taylor Heineke. John, are you playing Taylor?
I'm not going to take the shot on him. Not going to take the shot on him this week. I think Buffalo's defense is just going to give him a hard time.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. He did have a nice showing last week. I think if you're in like a super flex league, you could be a low end super flex option because of that little bit, that rushing upside he has. But outside of that, I mean, I see him finishes in as a low quarterback too. Up against that Buffalo defense, I think it's gonna be a tough day for him. Antonio Gibson, he is banged up, but they are saying that he is going to play. Are you comfortable with starting Antonio Gibson this week after those slow starts he's had?
Yeah, but I'd move him from a running back 1 to a running back 2 and then kind of just see what kind of other options I have. I just think he's going to have a cap ceiling, and I'm not expecting a huge breakout game from him, but I do think at the very least he's got a floor of it, a few rushing
8.3 points.
And that's better than taking a shot on someone random and getting 0, but I'll still play him. I'm just not happy to play him.
Yeah, I feel you there. With him banged up, do you think that leaves a little bit of a door open for J.D. McKissic to be involved?
I think the fact that J.D. McKissic's just so already again heavily involved in that passing game. We saw it last week against the Giants. I think J.D. McKissic's someone that's a sneaky flex play regardless. But yeah, I get it does give him some more opportunity to get some rushing attempts under his belt this week. So give him a little more hype.
Yeah, I would say he's a flex play, probably a low end flex play. Not much floor unless, I mean, week 1, he didn't have any targets. He only played 36% of the snaps. Last week, he played 44% and then had 6 targets. So, I mean, the good thing is with Taylor Heineke there, he should see some dump off passes and some quick passes there, being that Taylor Heineke's not, the seasoned vet like Ryan Fitzpatrick is. So yeah, I think he's a flex play. Moving over to the Buffalo running backs. Zach Moss is going to play. Same with Devin Singletary. Devin Singletary got in the end zone last week. He was pretty efficient, running 6. I mean, he's been pretty efficient all season, right? Averaging over 6 yards a carry, and he's had double-digit carries each week. Are we feeling Devin Singletary?
I mean, if I'm going to sit here and tell you that you might want to be playing J.D. McKissic, it's going to be hard for me to tell you not to put Devin Singletary in it. Well, I would play Singletary over McKissic in right now, but again, a low-end flex but with someone with a high possibility of breakout week. But I do think that there's always that opportunity that Buffalo just does not use that rushing game. They're not always going to be up 35-0 against Miami.
Yeah. And that's really where it comes in at. But I mean, even in a close game or a loss to Pittsburgh, he still, he didn't have the best fantasy finish, but he did put up 72 rushing yards, which is nice. So I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I think he's a flex play above J.D. McKissic. And as for Zach Moss, he only got 8. The only reason why he was relevant last week is because he had 2 touchdowns, and that's just not repeatable.
Yeah, not something you're going to want to even try to shoot for.
So outside of the top 2 receivers here in this game, Terry McLaurin and Stephon Diggs, does anybody else pique your interest?
I'm definitely interested in Cole Beasley again this week. I want to say he's a top 40 receiver on the year already. And then Adam Humphries definitely earned my trust last week. Targeted 8 times, brought in 7 of them. Looks pretty solid. And if you would have added just a touchdown on that, it would have been a really great day. And he would have been someone everyone is jumping to the waivers to grab. So I'd be taking him as a flex play. I'd take Adam Humphries over Devin Singletary this week, just out of some reckless play. But other than that, I'm not really interested in Emmanuel Sanders. I'm not comfortable playing De'Ami Brown yet. And then that's pretty much it out of these teams.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you there. Cole Beasley definitely, and Adam Humphries, I think is going to be it could be a sneaky flex play. And then Logan Thomas, my start of the week for the tight end spot. I love Logan Thomas this week. But how about Dawson Knox?
If you're in a situation where you're thinking about starting Dawson Knox, you are looking at a group of tight ends that aren't – you're taking a shot. I mean, you're streaming in a 2 tight end league if you're playing Dawson Knox. There's no reason to be jumping that low. But, I mean, he's someone that could blow up, could randomly have a day. He has been consistent on a low end, being able to get some catches and targets every week. Yeah.
Moving over, let's get over to Chicago and Cleveland. Justin Fields, everybody's hyped on him. He's my sit of the week. I think everybody is going to jump on this train. And unfortunately, going up against good defense, I mean, he'll be a 2, I think, but a lot of people have some really high expectations for him this week. And I just don't see it. I mean, I don't see it. He played 65% of the snaps last week and only put up 3.5 points.
Oh, not a solid day.
No.
I'd be playing Justin Fields if you've got him and maybe one of your quarterbacks went down, or if you're sitting in a situation where you've grabbed Carson Wentz to use until Fields took over a strong share of that offense, and he might be playing on 2 bum ankles this week. I'd play him in a situation like that. It's possible he goes out there and looks good against Cleveland. They've been allowing a lot of passing yards so far this year. They've been allowing quarterbacks to play pretty decently, but when you look back and see who they've played so far this year, it just makes more sense. I mean, playing against as far as Baker Mayfield, he's the same level of start that he always is. It's a stronger defense. He's a low-end quarterback 2 floor with a quarterback 2 ceiling.
Yeah, so this is how I look at it. Looking at both of these guys, Baker is not his throwing shoulder, but he does have a little a shoulder injury to his left shoulder. If I were to choose one of these quarterbacks, it would be Justin Fields purely on his upside. So I guess that kind of speaks to how I feel about Baker Mayfield. Even with Odell Beckham back, it's going to be a run heavy game, I think. So as far as the running backs, I mean, I'm playing David Montgomery, I'm playing Nick Chubb, I'm playing Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt did have a, poor week last week, but I see it could be a bounce back week for him.
Yeah, I'm definitely, Chubb and Montgomery are definitely must starts. Definitely have them in your lineup. Hunt, I think, is someone that you're looking at a flex position at best. And even then, you're kind of assessing what's around him. Chubb's going to get his 60 yards at least plus carries and then still has that red zone opportunity. I just think Kareem Hunt's usage is showing that he's going to have opportunity, but it's not going to be an every week thing. And up against your defense, it might just be a little bit of a slower day for him. So I just take a look at what I have, but he is playable.
Right. Yeah. But my only thing with him is they don't have Jarvis Landry. And, maybe he sees last week he only had 1 target, 1 catch. So maybe he screwed me on my prop bet. But maybe he's a little bit more pass catching work, being that Jarvis Landry's not there. But as far as the receivers, Allen Robinson, he's starting. Odell Beckham, are you playing him this week? It's his first week back from that ACL injury.
Yeah, I'd play him. I
Really?
mean, yeah, I'd play him. He's a high-end name. He's going to be the number one target on that offense. He's going to get some work. I mean, you're obviously taking a risk on the fact that he's not playing at full speed. He, a lot of different things that could come up, but they've kept him out long enough. They were just trying to get him out there to get him out there, not when he's ready to go. Then he would have started week 1. So no Jarvis Landry. I do think that he at least makes himself flexible. I'm not starting him at my wide receiver 1. I'm not starting him at wide receiver 2. Again, I'm looking to see who else I have and looking to flex him at best.
I could see it as a flex play, as a high end, upside, or a high end or high upside flex play. I could see that, but I'm trying not to, because honestly, I just think he's gonna be on a snap count. It's his first game back and since week 7 of last year. So I will I'll check on who I have. And if the guy doesn't have a nice floor and limited upside at that point, I'd consider Odell Beckham. But any other, does Darnell Mooney pique your interest? Because
he's obviously questionable at the moment, but if he comes in and he's healthy playing, he's another guy I'd be flexing in there. I'd be flexing. I think I'd take OBJ over Darnell Mooney, but I'd take Darnell Mooney over Kareem Hunt or any of the other people we mentioned out of the past 2 games.
Okay. Yeah, so I agree with you on Odell Beckham. I would play Kareem Hunt over Darnell Mooney, but I do think that Darnell Mooney is a good flex option, or at least a flexible option. I'm not really interested in Demetric Felton. I'm not interested in Anthony Schwartz. So are you interested in any of those guys?
No, not at all this week.
How about Austin Hooper? 5 targets last week, 5 catches, 3 the week before.
If you drafted him, he's playable. Don't go searching your waivers for him to be your savior, but he's definitely someone you're not streaming over him.
Yeah. And then Cole Kmet, he's my stream of the week.
If you're streaming, that's an option.
So it's an option. I think he has a nice bounce back week, or at least a decent one. Baltimore and Detroit, baby. Jared Goff. He's put up some numbers.
Yeah, no.
Currently quarterback 9.
Quarterback 9 put up over 570 yards so far this season, 580 yards so far this season. So looking to air it out in some garbage time. I like to see it. Again, a quarterback 2 on the week with some upside if he does end up throwing into the end zone. But Baltimore's defense is going to be a little scary for them.
Yeah, I would agree. I think if you need upside, I think he's gonna be a safe 2, a safe like mid-end 2. But if he can, get some of that garbage time, that would really, really be nice. So, and that's where he kind of bumps his ceiling up. Moving to the running backs, DeAndre Swift, he is questionable with a groin injury. If he plays, are you playing him?
Yeah, if he plays, you're playing him.
Okay.
I think he's someone you almost have to play, even if he's injured. He's been injured all this season so far.
Yeah. Now, what about Jamal Williams? He had a rough week last week. Compared to that week 1 boomer.
Yeah, he didn't really have those breakaway runs and didn't get into the end zone, which definitely slowed him down. The Lions weren't passing the ball like they were week 1. It's still early in the season to be getting on to claim anything as a trend. So I think you're still playing him as a flex option. You're not throwing him in as a running back 1 or 2 unless Swift does miss. If Swift doesn't play this week, then I think that he's someone that you could throw in as a running back 2 comfortably.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Tyson Williams, he is my start of the week. Love him this week. And Lat Murray, I think he is actually a sneaky flex play.
Yeah, more than likely. Baltimore's probably going to run the ball really well this week against Detroit. So they're probably both heavily going to be involved. And I think that getting them in either one of them in your lineup is going to be a great idea.
Yeah. As far as the wide receivers, to be honest, Quintez Cephus and Marquise Brown are the only guys, I really like, or not really like. I would consider, I would play. Sammy Watkins could be a potential flex play, but I think there's better options out there.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you 100%. I'm actually in a situation right now where I looked at one of my dynasty teams and I'm looking at either Quintez Cephas or Darnell Mooney. And I don't know where I'm sitting on it, honestly.
I'm going Quintez Cephas.
That's where I was thinking, but it just felt weird.
It does.
Especially going against Baltimore. And I do think that Mark has another great game. Him and Lamar seem to be on some sort of connection. It only took 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens there. I'd like him. I'm not touching anyone else in this entire game except Hawkinson.
Not even Mark Andrews. I think, and this is, he's yet to get in the end zone. We were saying in the entire draft year, don't draft Mark Andrews, right?
See.
So if you did, you're starting him because you're not going to have another tie. If you drafted him as high as you did, and I know we're getting to that point where draft positions kind of go out the window, but it currently in week 3, you're going to play him because of where you drafted him. So you're kind of stuck there.
I don't know. I might be looking to stream at this point.
I don't know. I guess it depends on who's your waiver, on who's on your waivers.
What's available out there. But
Arizona coming to sunny Florida, playing Jacksonville. Kyler Murray, obviously, and then Trevor Lawrence.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I think he could be, okay. It just depends. I mean, he had a really rough week last week.
He had a really, really rough week 1 as well.
But
the stats just don't show it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, fantasy-wise, he balled out.
Yeah, but he's not going to be playing against Houston this week. Arizona's not going to just let him throw it for 200 yards in the last half. So I like Kyler Murray this week. I'm not touching Trevor Lawrence with the 10 football. The running backs, again, I'll touch Chase Edmonds. I'll throw him in it as a running back too, but again, not touching anyone else in this backfield. Even James Conner, who does have a lot of touchdown upside this week, but I'm just not going to rely on it because Kyler will take all of those red zone carries.
Yeah, I'm not touching James Conner yet. And then you said James Robinson. Isn't he your sit of the week?
Sit of the week. Don't play him.
Sit of the week. Yeah.
Don't play him until he proves you wrong.
Yep. And that's where I am on that as well. No James Robinson until we see something from him. D-Hop, you're starting, but he is going to be a game time decision. If he doesn't play, I think Rondale Moore and AJ Green will be both good. Will be solid, good plays this week. Good flex plays.
Honestly, if DeAndre Hopkins misses, AJ Green almost becomes a must start for me. If he misses, AJ Green's going to be playing from that number 1 receiver role. And I do think that automatically just helps him get targeted a lot more and used a lot more. I obviously think Rondale Moore is someone that, with or without Hopkins this week, you should be flexing in. Without Hopkins, you should definitely be putting in.
Yeah.
In Jacksonville, I think the only guy that you can trust is actually Marvin Jones.
Yep.
And I think that's a little sad. DJ Chark just seems to be so far off of what we expected. Leviska Chanal injured early last week and then comes back a little banged up. So I like the guy, but I'm just not comfortable playing him. It just seems Marvin Jones is going to be consistently targeted in this offense, and then obviously someone that can end up in the end zone.
Yeah, last week's stat line for Leviska Chanal, crazy. 7 targets. Guess how many yards, John?
-3.
-3. And he only caught 2 balls.
I was going to say, it was only on 2 catches. They were both, I think the 2 catches were both screen passes, and one of them he got lit up.
Yeah. Max Williams is interesting if as a streaming flex option. He had 7 targets, 7 catches. He's interesting. Would you play Max Williams over Mark Andrews if DeAndre Hopkins does not play? A lot of ifs there.
Yes.
Okay.
Over Mark Andrews, yes. I'm not playing many people over Mark Andrews or under Mark Andrews.
Wow. All right. Los Angeles Chargers versus Kansas City Chiefs. Both quarterbacks. Yes.
Obviously, both quarterbacks are going to be great. Austin Eckler is a must start this week, even against that Kansas City team. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I'm actually starting to fade. I don't I don't want to keep taking these terrible weeks. He's getting the usage, he's getting the snaps. It's just not turning out to be anything. So I'm kind of in the same boat as James Robinson, except he hasn't dug himself in that deep. I'm kind of just going to wait and see until I get something from him. And if he blows up this week, I'll take the points on my bench and be happy.
So I'm going to play him. I know glutton for punishment, but I'm going to play Clyde Edwards-Helaire. But I will say this is the last week. This is the last week. If it doesn't happen this week, he's going to my bench, and I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until I see something from him. He's got to prove it to me. So hopefully he proves me right this week. Keenan Allen, Tyreek Hill must starts. Mike Williams, I think, is a good start this week. You know, he's seeing 22 targets in the first 2 weeks. Amazing. 15 catches.
Wide receiver 7 in PPR right now. He's absolutely balling out. So Justin Herbert and him and Keenan Allen are probably going to have huge days. So I'd make sure to get all 3 of them in my lineups. I like the Chargers this week.
Yeah, I do as well. Any other Kansas City Chiefs wide receivers?
No, outside of, I'm just going to throw the tight ends and lump them in here. Outside of Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, no one else on that team is getting a consistent enough workload and regularly producing with their opportunities for me to take the shot on them. Same thing for me with the rest of the Chargers wide receivers and even their tight ends. I would stream Jared Cook at worst case scenario. Yeah,
I would stream Jared Cook. Nice, you know, for a tight end, five targets last week, 8 targets week before. So nice consistency there. You know, but I do think he's a good streaming option. And then of course Travis Kelce is a must start. So let's get over to the New Orleans Saints versus the New England Patriots. Jameis Winston. No. Not today.
Not this week.
You fooled me once. Shame on you. If you get fooled, you can't get fooled again, right? Something like that.
Yes, thanks, George Bush.
Yeah. Marvin Jones. Mac Jones, also no.
Absolutely no. Still no. Don't think this is going to be the week where we see him be throwing for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's looking like a good quarterback, but even Tom Brady in his early years was just a game player.
Yeah.
So not a stat hog.
Alvin Kamara coming off of a bad week for him. You're still going to play him. I mean, Damian Harris, he's good to go. He did have a finger injury earlier in the week. However, he does not carry that designation anymore. I'm going to play him as a running back 2, low or high end running back 3. You know, he's been getting at least 16 touches, 17 attempts, or 17 total touches through the first 2 weeks. And I think he did enough last week to keep that running back spot.
Yeah, I think he's someone you can throw into your running back 2 position if you don't have another running back. Other than that, I think at best he's a flex option for you. His best week is going to be 100 yards and a touchdown. So at best, I think the most you can get from him is 16
to 15 points. Yeah.
The upside's really not there. And you almost can get that from James White.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm still flexing him in too. So for me, both of them are flex options. But if you need a consistent player and just need to make sure you get points at that position, Damian Harris is there for you.
Yep. I agree with every word you said there. James White, definitely a solid flex option. Young quarterback. We've seen it. He can rely on him to dump the ball off. And we've seen it weekend last 2 weeks. As far as the wide receivers, and is there anybody in this game that you trust or would flex or have a gut feeling about this week?
I don't have a gut feeling about any of them. I think there's equal opportunity for all of the receivers in this game to have a great day. It might be one of them. Best one that I would give out would be Jacoby Myers, even though I don't think he's that team's number 1. For some reason, I just got this feeling about him. But even then, I'm not playing him. I'm not touching anyone else from this game realistically.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not. Nobody else. Nobody else. Atlanta going into the Big Apple, playing the Giants. Both quarterbacks can sit on a bench. You like Daniel Jones, don't you?
I kind of like them both this week. Daniel Jones is a quarterback too, with some one upside if he does start running like he did last week. And then Matt Ryan, obviously, I do think that this is a week where he's going to be able to score against this offense or against this defense and still put up some yards like we're used to him doing. So he's a really, really, really weak streamable quarterback for me just to get me by. But Daniel Jones, kind of interested in getting him in at least a DFS lineup this week, honestly.
Maybe a DFS, but no, I'm sorry. I think, listen, Daniel Jones has always played the Washington football team well. I think we see typical Daniel Jones this week, but as far as the running backs, Saquon Barclay, I think this is, if it's not this week, then it's never.
It's never. It's literally never.
So
it's literally never.
We told people. I'm starting him though. I'm starting him, and similar to who else was I talking? Oh, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. If it doesn't happen, you got to wait for it. Then at that point,
he's a flex for me at best. I think
he's a fine running back too this week.
I think I'd rather take the consistency of someone else. I take Damian Harris at my running back too over Saquon Barkley, but I take Saquon Barkley at my flex over Damian Harris. I'll take Barkley's upside.
Okay.
But if I need to guarantee points, I'm taking Harris or someone else. The upside's there, but you also have the ideal floor of like 6 points again.
Yeah, I think to be honest, and I'm putting my neck out there, I think Saquon Barkley's a running back one this week. I like him this week, and I might be an idiot, but it is what it is. Saquon Barkley for you, Saquon Barkley or CEH?
Saquon Barkley. I think he has a higher floor, but it's not much higher.
Okay. Mike Davis. I'm not playing him.
No, I'm not playing him either.
I mean, he's just dud. He's a dud. He did have 7 catches. Maybe he's a flex, but it's not a comfortable flex. I would flex. I would flex him. I wouldn't leave him completely off, but it's not comfortable, especially with the emergence of Patterson.
I was going to say, I'm keeping him completely off. I don't think the upside is there and the floor could disappear completely, but I would take Patterson and, I'll put him in there, especially because you can get him as a running back. That's, in my opinion, just something that's very valuable.
Yeah. Are you interested? Obviously, Calvin Ridley, you're interested in or playing.
Yes, sir.
Calvin. I cannot speak. Kenny Golladay or Sterling Shepard and Darius Slayton. Any of those guys?
I'm playing Sterling Shepard this week as a flex. I'm not touching Kenny Golladay still. I'm not playing Darius Slayton. I'm not playing Kadarius Toney or any of the other Falcons. None of them are consistent, and as soon as you pick one, it's going to be the other. It seems like Shepard's the only guy that's the real go-to over there in New York.
Yeah, he definitely is. He definitely is.
Yeah. And then out of Atlanta, I'm not touching any of these receivers.
I'll play Sterling Shepard comfortably in wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 spot, flex, whatever your league is. And I would flex in Kenny Golladay. So I hate saying that, but I would. Kyle Pitts, I think he's a great play this week. He's going to have a good week. Coming off of he's slowly ramping up as far as efficiency and things like that. So I think this is going to be a good week for him. And then Evan Ingram, he is questionable, but I'm not playing him even if he plays.
No, I'm not touching either. I'm not touching any of the Giants tight ends, and I'm definitely playing Kyle Pitts because he's my tight end start of the week.
Dope. Cincinnati playing Pittsburgh. Quarterbacks, do they interest you?
The quarterbacks do interest me. They interest me as streaming options because both of them should be readily available for you. I take Big Ben over Joe Burrow this week. Obviously, we know Deontay Johnson's not going to be playing this week, but with the depth of the receivers in Pittsburgh, he's still going to be able to light it up.
All right. I'm not playing Big Ben. I mean, he's got that pec issue. He hasn't really been the Big Ben of old. And I really think that offensive line is killing him. It's trash. And Joe Burrow, I'd be more comfortable playing Joe Burrow over him this week.
Even with Higgins out.
Even with Higgins out. Yeah. I mean, he's got Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd. I'm not too worried about it. It's not like he has nobody. So, and then he has Joe Mixon there as well, who is didn't have the best week after having a very good week in week 1. I'm playing Mixon, especially with Boyd or Higgins more than likely out. I think you could see some nice pass catching work. And Najee Harris I'm playing as well.
Yeah, I think Joe Mixon's one of the almost a must-start player. Even though I don't think he's going to have the most explosive game, his floor is just way too high not to put him in there. Najee Harris, I think, is a great play this week. I think Cincinnati's been letting up a lot of rushing yards so far this year, and we're going to continue to see it. So I would definitely throw him in there.
Yeah. And Tyler Boyd, Jamar Chase. I think Tyler Boyd's a good flex play with no Higgins. And I think Jamar Chase is actually a good low end to mid wide receiver too.
Yeah, I think both of them find themselves at that wide receiver too. I'm actually the receiver I'm most excited for out of this game this week is actually going to be Juju Smith-Schuster. I really want to see if he can take over that role again without Deandre there being the key number 1 receiver on that team this week. Or is Chase Claypool going to step up and take over that role, which I don't see happening, and I'm not expecting it. So I'm not playing Chase Claypool outside of a flex play.
I will play Chase Claypool comfortably as a wide receiver 3 or a flex play. Wide receiver 2, if depending on who I have. Like I would play all of the other receivers here. Maybe Boyd and him are like close, I think, in my rankings. Chase Claypool has that upside though. I mean, we saw it last year. Whereas Tyler Boyd, I think, is going to be a safe floor. So I guess it's really what your goal is for that flex spot or that spot, but just to compare it. And I just want to put a little disclaimer out there, being that T. Higgins is banged up and he's more than likely not playing. He is no longer my start of the week. Just want to put that disclaimer out there.
Surprise, shock and awe.
Yeah, shock and awe. So, and then I think you can potentially stream Pat Freiermuth. I know we keep saying that, but he's gonna do it one day, right?
No, not this year.
No, not this year. I think it's a good matchup for him. No, Deandre.
I think he's had great matchups. We'll see. I mean, realistically,
Las Vegas and Buffalo are 2 good defenses. Good. I didn't say great.
Buffalo's a good defense. Vegas, their defense.
They've been playing very well.
No, their defense has been letting up so many points. Both of their
games.
Look
at the offenses they play. They've been playing great offenses.
They played Pittsburgh.
That's it.
Saying they have a terrible offensive line.
They do have They do. That defensive line, bro, is freaking nasty.
They've got 1 good defensive.
No, they've got 2. They've got Yannick Ngakoue and Max Crosby.
Yannick Ngakoue hasn't been good since he left the Jags.
He's good this year.
He's
checked the tape.
They had a good day against Pittsburgh. Let's get back onto the real schedule here.
Yes,
but no, yeah, I don't even know where we started from that. But let's get on.
Well, we ended.
Pat Freiermuth. Yeah, no, I just he'll have his role, but there's just too much going on there, and for him to even be good, it's gonna come on Big Ben being good. And you're telling me you don't believe in Big Ben, so his opportunity is just kind of limited.
I think he can get in the end zone. Indianapolis playing Tennessee. John, you're the only 10 I see. It's a divisional game. Ryan Tannehill. I know he's come off of 2 bad weeks. He turns it around this week. He is my must start. He threw for 347 yards. He just did not get in the end zone. Plus, he's got the rushing upside. Derrick Henry had 3 rushing touchdowns last week. It's not going to happen again this week. He might get in the end zone for 1, but AJ Brown's going to have a bounce back week. Julio Jones could get in the end zone as well. And that's going to come by the arm of Ryan Tannehill. And that's why Ryan Tannehill is my start of the week. I know everybody's fading in this week, but when everybody zigs, you got to zag, and I'm zagging.
I'm zigging on this one. I'm not comfortable playing Ryan Tannehill anymore right now. If you're quarterback weak and he's, people have also zigged and dropped him on this week, I think he can stream for you, but I'm not starting him comfortably over a lot of people. And then obviously I'm not touching Carson Wentz coming off this injury. I think it's going to be a really run heavy game for everyone. And I just don't see a lot of a high scoring game or just a lot of offense.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you. I'm not touching Carson Wentz. I think the Colts are definitely going to try to run the game and keep Derrick Henry on the sideline as much as possible. I just don't know if it's going to work. So I'm playing Jonathan Taylor and, of course, Derrick Henry. Question real quick before we move on, and I don't want to get off on a long tangent. Should Derrick Henry have been the number one overall pick? Being not just because Christian McCaffrey got hurt, but being the fact that we know his durability, we know his size and things like that. I mean, should look, hindsight. I was thinking about that on the ride to work this morning.
No.
I
mean, if you're in a standard league, then yes, possibly. But when you're in any half point PPR, full point PPR leagues, you get a large boost when you're talking about guys like Alvin Kamara, Dalvin Cook, and Christian McCaffrey, who are putting up 600 to 1,000 receiving yards on top of their 1,000+ rushing yards. And so the only way Derrick Henry guarantees he ends up better than them is to rush for over 2,000 yards again, meaning that one injury or missing 2 games can take him down from running back 1 all the way down to like running back 10.
Yeah. Okay. Just wondered. It was just a question. As far as the wide receivers, like I said, I think AJ Brown I think he's gonna have a nice bounce back week. And I think Julio Jones will be a good play as well. As far as Indianapolis Colts, I know Michael Pittman's coming off that injury or that big game, over 120 receiving yards. But I'm sorry, with Carson Wentz banged up and things like that, I agree with you. I think they're going to try to run the ball, and I just don't trust, Michael Pittman. It was Zach Pascal the week before, and Zach Pascal had a good week as well. He just got in the because he got in the end zone. So I'm not really touching any Colts receivers.
Yeah, I think Pittman's the low end flex for me. But I will take AJ Brown comfortably and Julio Jones as a wide receiver 3 or a flex play for it. Yeah. Out of that, I could see Pittman being one of the only guys on that team that has a halfway decent day.
Okay. The New York Jets playing Denver. No Bradley Chubb there for Denver. I think Teddy Bridgewater is going to have a phenomenal day. And I think Zach Wilson is going to continue to throw picks.
Yes. I think that's pretty much it. Teddy Bridgewater is my must start. Your must start?
Yes.
One of our must starts.
Your must start. Yes.
Okay.
Your must
These are my must start. Okay. And then Zach Wilson, I think, is the worst quarterback in the league right now.
Oh, wow.
Well, I mean, what have we seen otherwise? So
yeah. I don't know. Trevor Lawrence is making a case.
At least Trevor Lawrence isn't starting off the game 2-10 with like 20 yards at halftime.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
All of Zach Wilson's yards have come in garbage time past the half.
Yeah. Michael Carter. He saw double-digit carries last week and 3 targets, caught 2 of them. And he was the most efficient running back. I mean, on that team, averaging over 5 yards a carry.
Mm-hmm.
Are we thinking about starting Michael Carter?
I'm thinking about giving him that flex play. I think that he finds himself getting enough usage this week. Denver does have a pretty well-rounded defense, but even then, I think just out of usage when your quarterback can't move the ball downfield, might as well just give some dump passes to the receiver or the running back who's going to be able to get you 3 to 4 and at least get you that first down eventually.
So I'm not going to play Michael Carter unless I'm really desperate for a flex. I just don't trust the Jets offense is really what it comes down to. It's been putrid, and putrid is just a bad, nasty word. So I'm not trusting him. As far as Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams, what are we doing here?
I think you're playing them both.
You're playing them both. I think you're flexing both of them. It's literally, I mean, as far as touches, 50-50 each week. So I think you're playing them both and flexing and hoping you have the right one. Obviously, if you have a high end flex upside, you're playing that guy over both of them, because I don't think these guys give you the ceiling, but I think they're gonna get you 8-9 points.
I think one of them finds the end zone this week at least. And if I had to guess, I think it's going to be Javonte.
Woo!
I think Melvin Gordon's going to start the game off, but I think Javonte is going to have the breakaway. Obviously this is just nothing I can use to prove that. But gut feeling, I'm playing Javonte ahead of Melvin Gordon this week, and probably from here on out. I think it's Javonte season.
Now, what about the wide receivers in this game?
Give me Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick. I will put a DFS plan KJ Hamler at best.
Okay. I would agree with you there. I would comfortably play Cortland Sutton and then Tim Patrick. Yeah, I'm playing Tim Patrick as well. They're going up against the Jets. He'll be okay. The only thing that saved him though the last couple of weeks is him getting in the end zone. That's my only concern with him.
That's what he does though.
That is what he does. Big target, 6'4". As far as the Jets receivers, I mean, I think their leading target, their leading receiver as far as target goes is Braxton Barrios. So I am not playing anybody here. I think it could be.
Stick away.
I think Barrios could be the leading receiver this week, or it could be Elijah Moore, or it could be Corey Davis. So the best case scenario would be just stay away.
Agree. The only other name that's even useful in this entire game is going to be tight end out of Denver, Noah Fant.
Noah Fant. Let's go.
He's a must-start tight end.
Yeah. Miami playing Las Vegas. Hopefully they can score a point. I'm not playing Jacoby Brissett, and I'm not really interested in Derek Carr going up against his defense. I know he's been playing well, but
yeah, as well as he's been playing, he's still only quarterback 12 in the year. And so he's going to have to continue to play that well for him to be a quarterback one this week. I'm going to play who I have. I didn't draft Derek Carr.
Yes. I think this could be a trap game for the Raiders. I hope so, at least. I mean, hopefully. Myles Gaskin, Kenyon Drake with Josh Jacobs doubtful. I think Kenyon Drake, little revenge game action here. I think he could be a running back too this week.
Yeah, I think he gets a little bit of usage. I really like Myles Gaskin this week. I've got him in one league, and when I realized it was him and him up in my running back 2 slot, I just got this like feeling of confidence in my stomach, and I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm solid. Got a chance. So I do feel like he has a really good matchup with Las Vegas this week.
Was it the same confidence you had when we walked into the stadium last week?
No.
Okay. All right. Just wondering. As far as the wide receivers in this game, I'm not playing any Dolphins receivers, and Henry Ruggs, I think if you need an upside guy that is fast and can have the deep ball, but outside of that, I'm not really interested in it.
I'm not interested in any of the receivers in this game.
Darren Waller is really the only person I'm interested in, like truly interested in outside of this.
I'd have to agree with you. I think you're playing Gesicki if you've got him. I think at best you might be able to flex in Waddle. I mean, he was still used in the game last week. He was able to get 8 targets. 2 was only in for a short portion of the game. So there could be a connection between him and Jacoby Brissett. I believe Waddle was taking second team snaps at the very, very start of the offseason. So maybe they do already have a little bit of a rapport together. But especially with Will Fuller there's a chance that he finds some space.
I hope so. As not as fantasy, but I'm not playing Mike Gesicki. No way in hell. I'll stream. He's not even like, I don't know. He's really pissing me off as a fan. Seattle, Minnesota playing in the dome. Russell Wilson, you're playing. Kirk Cousins, I think he'd have a nice week. As crazy as it sounds, he's a quarterback 10 currently, and I think he has a good week this week against a pretty porous Seattle Seahawks defense.
Yeah, Seattle likes to give up the big plays, and they also like to go score those big plays. So the only way that Minnesota is going to stay in the game is by Kirk Cousins trying to keep up.
And it can happen.
It can. I mean, this could be a week where Justin Jefferson finally steps back onto everyone's radar and balls out.
He does. He does this week. He does. Especially with Dalvin Cook, questionable. He didn't practice on Friday. So if he does not, okay, first of all, if he plays, you play him. Correct?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make that clear. If he does not play, where do we see Alexander Madison falling? Because last year when it happened, everybody's hopes were up here.
I'm putting him as a flex. I'm not taking any bigger shots than that. If I know I have someone and I know what to expect from them, I'll take that. Just because the role is opening up for Madison does not mean that it's going to be a Dalvin Cook day for Madison.
Yeah, God, no, it won't be.
I do want to take a shot on him at that point because it could be, especially in a game that could turn out to be a big blowout. I'll flex him at best, but even then, he's not a strong flex. He's not a weak flex. He's a Darnell Mooney flex.
Yes, with upside. And I think you can throw him in that running back 2 spot if you're needy as well there. Really weak. And I'm really excited for Chris Carson. I know he's your start of the week. I'm very excited for him this week. One of our buddies, John, texted me the other day and said, "Hey, do I start Robbie Anderson or Chris Carson?" I smacked him upside the head. And he got the hint. He did not play Robbie Anderson.
Smart man.
DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, you're not playing. They're in your lineups. Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. I think both are you're playing. KJ Osborne. Both. Yeah, KJ Osborne, flex.
You're playing KJ Osborne this week. I'd play KJ Osborne. I like him a lot.
Yep. I dropped him in a dynasty. Every time we bring him up, I'm going to say it. Not very happy about it. And then tight ends, no.
Yeah, no. None at all.
All right, let's do it to it. Tampa Bay, maybe the game of the week, potentially has that upside. Tampa Bay flying across the country to the team that beat them last year, the Los Angeles Rams. I'm playing Tom Brady, of course, and I'm playing Matt Stafford as a high-end 2 option. I think it could be a rough day for him, or he could ball out. I mean, that's kind of where I fall, but I'm more than likely. I mean, it's either going to turn into a shootout or a very defensive game, being that those 2 defenses are potentially the best 2 defenses in the league. So Matt Stafford kind of worries me, but I'm more than likely playing him over other options that I have.
No, I'm definitely playing Matt Stafford. I think there's a chance he's a top 3 quarterback on the week. Even the Falcons were able to put up 25 points against the Bucs last week. And then the week before that, Dak Prescott lit up the game, throwing for 3 touchdowns and 400 yards. I'm not worried about people not being able to score or put up points or yards against the Bucs defense. I'm scared about if the game's going to be close. How many times has that defense allowed them to actually score? Gotcha. They're like a bend don't break defense. So I'm very comfortable playing Stafford this week. So comfortable. I wish I could make him a start of the week.
Okay. Well, you can.
It's too late. I've already picked my man.
All right.
We're riding all the way.
All right. Daryl. Okay. Real quick before we jump over to the LA Rams running backs, Leonard Fournette, Ronald Jones. What the hell? I think Leonard Fournette is the only one I'd flex.
I wouldn't even flex them at this point unless you're really, really weak. I don't trust any of them more than I would trust. I wouldn't even. I'd put them in the same category as James Robinson. Neither of them are playable.
Wow. Yeah.
Until one of them starts taking over a chunk, because at any point it could turn into the other guy's backfield. There's just not enough to go off of at this point, and don't take the risk like I did week 1 on Ronald Jones and then get negative points on him.
Yes. All right. Daryl Henderson is a game time decision. If he does not play, Sony Michel, I think is a solid play. Solid running back too.
I think he's at this point, I think he's a flex back or weak running back. Even if Henderson's coming in as a game time decision, that probably means we're going to be seeing a little bit more of Sony this week. And with more opportunity comes more opportunity. So I like the upside there, but only as a weak flex. And then especially if he does miss, then you can definitely throw him in at that running back 2 or a more confident flex option.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to take the shot on Sony Michel. I understand what you're saying in the fact that since Daryl Henderson is game time decision, he might not get the, carries. I understand it. I just don't, unless I'm desperate, I don't think I'm going to take that risk. As far as the wide receivers here, Antonio Brown, more than likely not going to be playing, being the fact
He's already
that
been ruled out.
he did get ruled out
I
officially.
think, yeah, because I don't think he has enough time to pass a positive COVID test at this
Okay,
point.
so he does no, currently he is able to. He just has to pass one like tomorrow morning and fly out
Another
there
one the
and
day
pass
after.
another one on Sunday.
Yeah.
So he's currently more than likely not playing though. We'll just say
Yeah, I'm assuming he's not at this point. And
Mike Evans, Chris Godwin.
With that being the case, I think all four top four receivers in this game are must starts. I think Evans becomes a must start. Chris Godwin becomes a must start. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. Even though Robert Woods hasn't been doing too much yet, that's not to say that he's not someone that's still getting targets. Last week got 9, caught 5 of them. And touchdowns can come. Just because Cooper Kupp's catching them now doesn't mean it's going to happen every week. It's only week 2, so let's not get too tilted on people.
And then I think Rob Gronkowski is a must start, especially if no Antonio Brown. He's clearly the team's red zone guy. 4 touchdowns already. Tyler Higbee, though, I'm trying to find another option. Going up against a very tough defense, linebacking core. Very tough.
I would definitely agree. I've got him as my sit of the week for that same reason. I just don't want to take the chance on him and have him bust on me. I think I'm going to start looking to stream people if I've got him, but only if I can find someone that gives me a solid floor or a huge ceiling that I don't see.
Yeah, John really hates when guys bust on him.
Yeah, Mike loves it though.
Yeah, I do love when guys bust on you. Green Bay
content.
Oh my God. Yeah. Good thing we mark it explicit. Green Bay, San Francisco, in San Fran. It's going to be a beautiful night for some Sunday night football. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is a good play. I mean, he's back. He's back like Lord Voldemort.
Yeah. I don't think you're sitting Rodgers. And then I think Garoppolo's QB2 on the week, somewhere really in that wide range of 13 to 24.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah. Aaron Jones, obviously you're starting. Trey Sermon is expected to start. They also have Jacques, I don't know how exactly you say it. Jacques maybe. Jockey.
All right, he's not relevant.
You don't think he is?
No.
All right.
What do you think they're going to do with him? I'm curious now that you said it that way.
I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know this backfield. I don't know. He just came. There's only one guy, unless Elijah Mitchell somehow plays. There's only one guy in this offense that's been with the team for a while, but he's just getting out of concussion protocol.
Yes, but it's concussion protocol. He's cleared from it. It's not like it's a lingering thing.
I know. Maybe.
It's not like he's coming off a hamstring injury
Soft
and just
tissue,
got cleared to play.
It. So we're all in on Sermon this week?
I'm all in on Sermon. I'm questioning if I take him off my dang taxi squad in one of my dynasty leagues because I need him for the week.
Yeah, no, not right now. I think dynasty, you keep him right there because they could easily bring somebody in if he doesn't, or Elijah Mitchell could have take over again next week. But yeah, I think this week Trey Sermons will be a running back too. With that upside because of how much that team might rush. Devontae Adams must start. Deebo Samuel must start. Brandon Ayuk, okay, I'm not starting him, but I think this is the week we start to see a little bit of life out of him.
Yeah, I'm still not playing him this week. Another one of those guys where he's on my bench until something happens because nothing's happening there. Not even a thing.
Yeah.
So,
and then I'm not playing Trent Sherfield. He went down in snaps last week. George Kittle is playing. I know he's been, rough, but, he's got that high end upside. Robert Tonyan. I think you can play, but if he doesn't get in the end zone, he's not going to do anything for you.
Yeah, and that's going to be it right there. He's a touchdown dependent guy. He's a solid tight end play, but he doesn't have a high ceiling unless it only comes on touchdowns.
And then finally, the last game of the week, Philadelphia going into Dallas, both 1-1. I think this could be a very good game. Jalen Hurts, I know, is John's start of the week. I like Jalen Hurts this week as well. Dak Prescott, obviously must start. So good quarterback situation there. Miles Sanders, you're going to play as a running back too. With that upside, he just pray he gets some more work. I mean, last week, what hurt him was he did not have as many targets as he did in week 1.
He actually got hurt last week.
Oh yeah, you're right. He did get hurt.
Sustained a chest injury. Though it didn't really hurt his total snap percentage, it definitely just limited the amount of times they were using him. And with how that game was going, they really needed to start moving the ball downfield, and running it wasn't going to be working. Up against Dallas, if Hurts can stay in front, then there's a big chance that Miles Sanders finds himself in for a big day.
Yeah. Ezekiel Elliott, you're playing as running back too. I mean, I understand everybody's worried about Tony Pollard and things like that, but he's going to get that goal line work. And he'll be fine. He'll be okay. Tony Pollard, are you flexing him or playing him as your running back too this week?
I'd flex him in. This is only 2 weeks in, so I don't like assuming the trend's going to continue for things that aren't very common, like someone like Tony Pollard coming in and taking over Ezekiel Elliott. Like, that's not something you would say is very common in the NFL. So only having 2 weeks to use that as data, I'm not writing that. But if I have him and I need to fill the spot, then I'll hope for 10 points from him.
Yeah. I think it's really going to depend on who I have around me. Yeah. If I have somebody with a safer floor, then I'm going to go with that guy, because I don't think that Tony Pollard has a floor at all, because, week 1, he got 3 carries, and I know they went away from the run, but week 2, they went to 13 carries. So super volatile. So that's kind of where I am at on that. Devontae Smith, I think, could have a bad game. I think Trayvon Diggs, if he shadows him or plays him, it could be pretty rough for Devontae Smith. So I'm trying to go away from him if possible. As far as CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper, I know Amari Cooper is good to go, but both of those guys I think are must starts.
Yeah, you have to start both of them. I think Cedric Wilson's a great flex play. And then, honestly, out of all the Eagles receivers, I'm not comfortable touching any of them. Jalen Hurts did have that almost 300-yard game week 1, but that was against the Falcons. First time he plays a real defense. The only reason he had a solid day was because of the fact that he's so mobile. Only throwing for 180 yards, I believe it was. None of these receivers in Philadelphia really stick out to me.
Yeah,
but
agree.
I do love Dax.
Yeah. And then Dallas Goedert, are you comfortable playing him at all?
Probably the only receiver on that team I'd be comfortable playing. Just on the upside of the tight end and the fact that he's going to be someone that at least gives you the same floor you'll get from someone of each stream.
Yeah. So, all right. And then Dalton Schultz or Blake Jarwin?
Not taking the shot on either of them, but if I had to, I'm taking
Schultz.
I'm taking Schultzy.
Yeah.
I think I'll take Schultz.
So.
Neither of them are sexy plays.
Nope. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to this game-by-game breakdown. Let us know in the comments what you think. And if you agree, disagree, let us know. We've got a fun-filled week. It's going to be our weekend. I'm very excited for football.
Very excited for it. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon down below, as well as joining the Discord chat. If you're listening to this on a podcast format, those ratings and reviews mean a lot. They do a lot for us, and they let us know what you guys like the most about the show so we can continue to give you what you like. So make sure you guys are doing that for us.
All right, guys. We will see you later. Have a great weekend.